Hello there and then welcome to a brand new video. In this video, we are solving question 4A of BECE 2023. Then as you can see on the screen here, I have this question we'll be solving, and after which you can try these on the right hand on your own. Without much ado, let's quickly look into it. So we have if 4m minus 2 into brackets 3 plus 2m bracket close plus m into brackets 2m plus 4 is equal to 0. You have to find the value of m. So first of all, let's write out our equation. So 4m minus 2 into bracket your 3 plus 2m, then plus m into bracket your 2m plus 4, which is equal to 0. So with this that I have, the first thing I'm supposed to do is to open my bracket. You see, talking of opening bracket, this 4m has no bracket to open. So we write our 4m over there. Then negative 2 times 3, that is, we are opening this way, you see. So that is, whatever you have in front of the bracket multiplies everything inside, one after the other. So that negative 2 times 3 gives us a negative 6. The negative 2 times positive 2m will then give us a negative 4m. We are done with this bracket here. Then we come to this bracket. So the same thing applies. This m multiplies this 2m, and then it also multiplies your 4 as well. So that we have m times 2m giving us a positive 2m squared. Then we have m times 4, which gives us a positive 4m. And with all that, we say it's equal to 0. Now, if you are able to do this, what you now do is you try and group like terms. You see, you look out for terms that are similar, and then you can what? Simplify. If you look carefully, we have 4m over here. You see, so we are writing this out. Then we have a negative 4m as well here. So negative 4m. And there's also another 4m over here. So plus 4m. So we've been able to write this one out, this out, and then this out. We are left with what? Negative 6, and then positive 2m squared. So I'll write that here, negative 6, and then positive 2m squared, all of which are equal to 0. Evaluating 4m minus 4m plus 4m. The positive 4m takes out one of the negative 4m. So that I left with just 4m. So we have 4m minus 6 plus 2m squared is equal to 0. Now, if you have question of this sort, or if you have an expression of this sort, no one is supposed to tell you it's a quadratic one, you see. Hence, we would have to rewrite it so that it looks as a quadratic form, you see. That is, the one with the m squared comes first, so that we have 2m squared, then positive 4m minus 6 being equal to 0. So we are actually now solving for this over here, you see. But we can choose to simplify. And what do I mean by simplify? If you look at it carefully, 2 can cancel out every term over here. So our first step is to divide each and every term by 2. You see, you can solve it straightforward, but you doing this reduces the values, and then you can easily get your factors, you see. So with that, we can say this 2 cancels out this 2, and you're left with m squared. So I'll write my m squared here, and then this 2 as well takes out this 4 to give me 2. So that gives us a positive 2m. And then this 2 also divides this to give me 3. So minus 3 is equal to 0. So with this now, we have a new question or a new equation we want to solve. And that is m squared plus 2m minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, how do we solve quadratic equations? As usual, we'll multiply our a by our c. And where do we even say our a? So a m squared plus bx. This time around I'm using m. So bm plus c is equal to 0. If you have to compare according to the terms, then you know there's 1 here, though we don't write it. So a is actually 1. Comparing the b, we'll say that b is equal to 2. And then comparing this, as c is also negative 3. So to solve quadratic equation, you multiply the a by the c. You see, if I multiply my a value by my c, that gives me 1 times negative 3. And 1 times negative 3 gives me a negative 3. Then we now look for factor pairs of this, that when we add them, we'll get the b value. The b value is 2 over here. So factor pairs of negative 3, I can say I have 1 times negative 3. 1 times negative 3 certainly gives me a negative 3. If I add, do I get a positive 2? No. Hence, let me try and then change my signs so that I rather say negative 1 times 3. So negative 1 times 3 once again gives us a negative 3. And if we add, do we get a positive 2 as we see here? Yes, we do. So instead of our 2, we are going to substitute it with negative 1 and then 3. So that our equation, this equation, now actually becomes m squared plus, instead of the 2, we are going to write into bracket what? Negative 1 plus 3 m minus 3 is equal to 0. So this is a new form of writing the 2. You see, so that we have m squared. Taking out this bracket, we have negative 1 multiplying m to give us negative m. Then we have 3 multiplying m to give us a positive 3m minus 3 is equal to 0. So what we do at this point is we try and then factorize. What does m squared and m have in common? They do have m. So we bring our m, and m times what gives us m squared, that is m. M times what also gives us negative m, so negative 1. And we do the same for this 3m minus 3. They both have 3 in common. And for that matter, we're talking of a positive 3. So positive 3 times 3m. Positive 3 times what gives us 3m? That is m. And positive 3 once again times what gives us a negative 3? That is a negative 1. So you realize that you have these two brackets that look similar. They're actually the same. So you write them out. That is m minus 1. And then we write out another bracket that will contain the coefficient of the two brackets. You see? So m from here, then plus 3 from here is equal to 0. At this stage now, we now equate both brackets to 0. What do I mean by that? This first bracket here, we equate it to 0. So that we are going to get m minus 1 is equal to 0. Then you equate this second bracket as well to 0. That is m plus 3 is equal to 0. And you solve together to make m the subject. So solving for this first one here, I'm going to get m is equal to negative. This is negative 1. So if it moves to the other side, instead of negative 1, it becomes 1. Then for this side here, we have m being equal to what? Negative 3. And you are done. So you've been able to solve out your m. Hence, we would say m is equal to negative 3 or m is equal to 1. And that is the solution to the quadratic equation. That being said, here are some questions you can try on your own. This first one here is actually a word problem, and you would need to be able to translate word problems into equations so that you solve. This second one, you have to solve for the value of n. Solve for the value of n, and for this, you solve for the value of x. If there's any issue of concern, you can always let me know at the comment section, and then I'll address that for you. See you in our next video where we look at the next question of 2023 BC. Bye for now.